Alright, what's up YouTube? This is Bear in Mind. I want to give you guys an insight on how I made so much currency in 2 weeks with the Temple of Atzoatl. So as you can see right now, I'm like sitting on 8.6k chaos and 55 exalts. I wasted already like a bunch of it. Like I probably wasted, I know I wasted 7.6k not long ago, but I also wasted like 50 exalts like in the last 2 days, which, I mean, if you add that up, I'd probably be up to like 15,000 chaos and like 100 exalts, maybe a little less than 100 exalts. I think I wasted closer to 35 exalts than like 50. So let's just say 80 exalts. Well, I got a bunch of other things to sell, but it's the end of the league. Who cares about that? So I think you can make a pretty decent amount of currency using this technique. It's not really complicated. It's just maximizing your rooms and like running really high level temples. So I'm gonna try to give you guys a rundown of like which rooms are like really good to like start with and which rooms are like not so good. So I made a little tier list, as you can see. I think the biggest thing is you want to run really high level temples. You want to run like level 83 temples. 82 temples, it works, it's just not as good. Like you get an extra tier, like lower tier map, which is not optimal. And what you want to be looking for the most is you want to go for maps. Maps is where the money is at. Like every time you drop a tier 16 map, you can probably, like at the moment, I think they're like 28C each. And in a temple, you can probably drop, you will probably drop at least one per temple. But you can also drop, well, not also, you will most likely drop 2, 3, and if you get the map room, then you can go up to like 5 or 6. So that can be like pretty lucrative. So your chase room are mostly the map room, which is like one of the most efficient way to make money out of the temple. And then you also want to chase the item room. The one that can, because there's 2 reasons for it. So the item room at every level of it, you don't need to have it level 3. Level 1 is fine. You'll get the map. You can get a map box, basically like a scroll thing, and you can get maps out of it. If you're like in a tier 16 map, then you have a really high chance of getting a tier 16, so you get really good returns. If it's level 2, then you have more chances, and if it's level 3, then you get some specific items that can be either, I believe it's league items, so Nemesis League stuff. You could get a Headhunter from there. You can get essences, which is also pretty, I mean, it's not that bad. You can get a Remnant a few times. That's decent. It's a few chaoses on the side. It's not the best. But one of the really good chase ones you can get, and I've got, I kind of like didn't use the item room as much as I wanted during the whole league, well, during the 2 weeks that I've like experimented with this. At the end, I've used it most, and I found that you can get some Perandus Manor drops, and they're not that rare. Like I've dropped 3 of those so far, and like right now, I think they're going at 430 something chaos each. So like when you get one of those, it's pretty juicy. So it's a really good drop you can get out of it. Then the second tier, your A tier, you have the pack size. The pack size is actually a lot better than what people make of it. So first of all, if you're trying to level your character, it's really good. I mean, like, you don't really care about item quantity and you don't care about item rarity, so it's the same thing. For map drops, item rarity and item quantity do not apply. So 30% pack size is the same thing as if you ran a normal tier 16 with all your 8 mods or whatever you want on it. Doesn't matter the item rarity, it's going to drop the same amount of maps. And that's a really big thing. If you think about it, like you're going to do a tier 16 map, you rarely drop 30C of pure currency. It's pretty rare. Like you can drop an exalt, then obviously you get past that. But most of your currency in high level maps are going to come out of map drops. Most of them you're going to run, some of them you can sell away. I mean, at some point, like even if you run like tier 16 maps or tier 15 maps, then eventually you might end up like stacking up like 50 of like your tier 16 map, and then what the hell are you going to do with 50? You're going to run them, you're going to get like 75 at the end, and then like your map stash is going to be full. Buy a new map stash? No, just sell them. Like you don't need this many. You might as well. If you can use the currency, why? If you can't use the map and you can use the currency, why have the maps? There's no point. Get rid of what you can't use. You'll make plenty of currency that way. It's gonna be a lot better. All right, the other one, a Sacrificial chamber, is one that I found also pretty late in the league, and that one is amazing, and nobody uses it. I know nobody uses it because it doesn't make any sense. So what you want to do is you want to run a temple. You want to get your level 3 Sacrificial Chamber, which allows you to use an item with a vial, sacrifice it, and get a new item. Everyone knows about this, I think, and nobody uses it really. Like, I think most people just buy straight up the result of this like item combination, which is, it's good, it's a good thing, but like, okay, so I'll give you an example. So if I like I were to load up like a PoE trade, and well, it's just I'll just take like random numbers. I don't need to like look at it that much. So you can buy easily Architect Hands for 1C, and you can buy a Vial for 1 Alchemy. I think it's Vial of Dominance. Yeah, it's Vial of Dominance. I believe it goes from like one Alchemy to 1 Chaos. But if you sell the result of those 2 items combined, the Slave Driver's Hand, it goes from 35C to up to 100C probably, if you get like really good rolls. Obviously, you can also corrupt that. You can go a few exalts up. What I did the most is I've used Coward's Chain to transform it into Coward's Legacy, and then I was selling those belts. And I've sold at least 3 or 4 that I was sold for like 100 chaos each, and I've sold like many more like for 40C each, and every time it would just cost me 2C to make one. So that's a really good room. It's a really lucrative, and it only depends on how much the base item and the vial cost, and those 2 things are completely worthless right now. So maybe next week that's gonna change. Maybe it's gonna actually be worth changing some of the, you know, some of the tiers accordingly to this eventually. Like, what I mean by that is that you can drop from like different rooms, like the Lightning Room. You can get the Dance of the Offered. Maybe that's gonna be worth a lot next week because people are gonna like just stock up on those and use vials on them and just get plenty of money. Maybe not. If that doesn't happen, well, it's still gonna be a really good room, and you'll still make currency out of it. So I definitely recommend you get that one. Then there's the gem room. Gem room is pretty obvious. You get some gems. You can sell the gems. If they're shit, you can get gem cutter's prism with that. You can just leave them on the ground. It doesn't matter. If you get 20% ones, you can get like 10C to like many other Cs, probably like up to 40C for like a gem drop. And if you get it to level 3, you can try to enchant the gem. If it works, multiple exalts, easy money, really good room. Corruption room. Same thing, can do it on your item, might lose the item, kinda sucks. I feel like, on average, it's good. It just has this, it's like it's the biggest hit or miss room. There's no other rooms that you will lose more currency into it, but once you hit the jackpot, you can make 100 exalts, like with just 1 item. But you're probably gonna spend a lot before you get that. I recommend, like, if you're gonna be doing this, if you're gonna, so let's say you use just 6 links item. Like, you say I got a Tinker Skin here. I like burst a few of them too. If you get a Tinker Skin and you try to drop double corruption on it, if you don't hit it and it's still 6 link, it hasn't poofed, well, you can sell the item. 7 exalts or so, decent money. It's pretty alright. If, however, you use the 3 link Tinker Skin and you didn't get the really good corruptions, then your Tinker Skin is not worth using for Ricci to 6-link it. So that is kind of an issue. Like, I think it would probably cost you like 20 exalts or so to 6-link it with Varici, with the Vol Orbs being like super inflated. So, you know, it's pretty pricey. However, if you do get like +2 gems, let's say +2 fire, +2 duration gems, +2 trap gems, +1 socketed gems, double corruption, then that item is probably worth like still like a solid 200, 300 exalts, I would guess. And yeah, it doesn't matter if Varici like costs you like 20 exalts to like 6-link it. Like, you don't give a shit anymore. That's like, it's just way too good. It's probably one of the only one in the game too. So like, still a really good chase room, really good stuff you can get from it. Tabulas, easy, like as long as you get a corruption on it, pretty much. Like that gives psychotic gem stuff. It's good, except Warcry. Warcry sucks. Really good room. Should try it. Could also use it on belts. Could use it on what's it called? The Rampage belt, the quantity one. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, it's a really good thing. You can try to get quantity on your rings, quantity on your belts. You can try to get a lot of really good stuff. It's a really good room. Tempest. Tempest is actually not the best one. It kind of sneaks in there. Like it's like quantity is not that much of a big deal in Temple, but it's still really, really good. Tempest gives you 30% quantity, whatever the Tempest you get. So whenever it's particularly a good level 1 room. It's probably the best except map and item room at level 1. It is really good. You get 30% quantity. It's awesome. If you get it to level 3, you can get the radiating one or the corrupting one. Corrupting one, I don't like it that much. You have to slow down way too much. Normally, I like to play pretty quickly, so it's not my favorite. It's still really good. I mean, if you were to actually run that for real, you could get a lot of divine orbs from selling 6 links, so it's definitely worth it. Radiating can give you, like, I think it's 600% quantity and 1k rarity or something. I'm not exactly sure. You have to be hit. You have to like either have the circle land on you, the Tempest land on you, or on the pack of monster. If it hits on the pack of monster, it's more quantity, more rarity, or if it hits on you, it's less. But you can you can run with the buff around, so that's pretty good. It's pretty decent, but honestly, what makes it a really good room is the level 1. You're gonna like find some rooms, you're gonna end up with like a really shitty room, and then you can just change it to like level 1 Tempest, and or on your very last room that you can enter your temple. It's pretty good, really handy, it's really nice. And then a note of like really good and really handy ones, it's a little less good, I mean, in my opinion, but it's the explosive room. Explosive room, super handy. Level 3 room, drops a lot of currency. It's pretty alright. Like, I mean, a lot of currency probably drops you like 3 chaos or so, maybe 8, because you're probably going to drop a sexton or so, like a master sexton. It's not good for loot, but it's really useful, especially when you're going to be like grinding out these rooms, go really fast. You're not going to look to see, did I think all of my rooms? Or like sometimes you end up with like, I don't know, you have your map room like that's like in the little corner over here, and you're like trying to like do your things here, and you're like, oh, this is awesome, I got everything, got a map room, it's level 3, and then you realize you didn't link it. Fuck, dude, that hurts. But if you got the explosive room, it's really good. Also enables you to make more, to like go through more rooms, which means you'll kill more packs of monsters, which means you'll drop more maps, which, you know, it's just a lot of money. It's a really good room. The breach room is pretty alright. I'm not that much of a fan of it. I mean, level 1 is super shit. Level 2 is kind of shit, but not that bad. I mean, so the reason why I say it's kind of shit, but it's not that bad, is that logically it is a pretty good room. It gives you more monsters. That's what you need for maps. It can be pretty packed in there, so that's good. Never had a good drop in there. Never. So, unless something about the temple doesn't affect it, I don't know what it is. Like nothing. There's no reason why I shouldn't be getting a lot of loots out of it. So, for that reason, I still put it in, you know, B tier, but I never got anything out of it. So that's what it is. Alright, weapon and armor room, they're pretty alright. There's no good low tier 1 or tier 2 drops. Kinda sucks. Tier 3 seems to be the one where all the div cards drop, and that can be useful. I never got anything that was worth multiple... Nothing close to an exalt. I've dropped, however, quite a few Pride Before the Fall, so I sold those. That was pretty lucrative, like 20 chaos or so. It's not a map drop. It's not as good. Still pretty good. Pretty rare. It's pretty good. It's all right. It's not too bad. Vault is not so good. I thought that would be one of the better like room initially. I ran a lot of it, and then once you do the math, it's really not worth it. Probably the best vault I've had drop an exalt shard. Probably 2 or 3 exalt shards. You need 20 of them for like an exalt. Exalts go for like 70 chaos or so. That means you pretty much drop 6 chaos. Might as well drop just a master sexton. Same thing, pretty much the same price. Those are your chase. That's what you're gonna get the best item, I think. Well, the best item I've had were exalted shards in the vault room, and I've never made more than 6 chaos with those. Sexton, they don't drop that much in the vault room. You're pretty much just gonna drop currency. The best one you can get is Vol Orbs. Vol Orbs, you can get probably 2 or 3 of them, maybe 5, 6 in one vault room, level 3. That means you're getting close to what? 9 chaos? Like, really? I'd rather just have more mobs or do something else. I'm pretty sure you can get in 3 temples if you have like just 10% pack size. You're gonna get map, and that's gonna be worth more. So vault room is not that great. It doesn't seem to have like really good. The odds of getting something in there is not so nice. But there's one thing that I don't know about. It's never dropped for me, and it might drop because that is the room that drops shards of things. So a mirror shard could technically be in there. Never dropped it, so I can't assess it. I can't say for sure. If anyone has any idea if it drops in there, please write something in the comments below so I can like update this. Never seen it. Might be in there. I'm pretty sure there's mirror shards, so therefore there's some good chances that if it drops in any room, it should drop in this room. But I haven't seen it. Can't assess it. It's good. It's still a decent room. Like, it's better than the other ones, and the other ones are really, really shit. So, the next one, the situational one. That's clever. It's a C. I get it. So your C tier, Temple Nexus. It's the only one in there. That room is really, really bad, and I'll show you why. So, if I go on a temple, right? You have to like think about it this way. Let's say I get Temple Nexus. If Temple Nexus is where Alls is, like right here, then Temple Nexus can only affect this and this. Let's say I get Temple Nexus 3, that means I used 3 level to upgrade it, and I've managed to get 2 levels worth of it. What it's good for is that, say you have a map room next to it, or a really good chase room next to it, then you've doubled your chances of getting a level on it, in a way, which is alright. Instead of having 1 out of 11, then now you're up to 1 out of 10. I mean, that's 7% chance more of getting your whatever if it gets to level 3, but that's it. Where you could potentially get the Temple Nexus is if it wasn't Jewelry Forge, or that's pretty much it, really. Here is not so bad. You got 4 things linked to it. Odds are you're not gonna get something out of this. Like, so, okay, so Temple Nexus, let's just run this down, okay? Temple Nexus is useful if your room is level 1 or 2. If it's level 3, you've lost your Temple Nexus effect. If Temple Nexus is not linked to another room, then you've lost your Temple Nexus effect. If your Temple Nexus is in a corner, then you're not getting good juice out of your Temple Nexus because it's in a corner, there's less room to link to it, doesn't do anything that much. If your temple is next to a generic room, you've lost your Temple Nexus. Your Temple Nexus has to be close to your good room, has to be level 3. You have to make it to level 3, which doesn't happen sometimes, often. And it has to be close to a chase room. So, I mean, like, it's so hard to get that thing working. I think in like 70, probably more than 75. I know I've run my 75 temples that I wrote down, but that's once I figured out that I was making a lot of currency, and I was like, holy shit, I might have to do something with this and, like, you know, start gathering data so I'm just not talking out of my ass. Yeah, from that point, I think I might have once a Temple Nexus that got me 2 or 3 rooms to level 3. It's so impossibly hard and to like get it to be good that I really do not recommend getting that room. If you can avoid it, avoid it. But it's not as bad as the other ones. The other ones, the dog shit tier, the Atri, the trap room, your poison room, your lockbox room, your torment, and your factory. Factory, I thought was a really good room like at first. Now I really don't. There's no chase item. It only gives you 5% quantity. Tempest gives you 30. Tempest, you need 1 level into it. The factory, you need 3 level. It's not the worst room. You can probably get it. It'll get you some stuff out of your temple. It's not the worst room. It's one of the better ones in the dog shit tier. But torment is useless. Getting like a few spirits, completely useless. Don't get it. You're not gonna get it. You're not gonna make your money back. You're not gonna get anything from this. The logbox room, a single cartographer box I've gotten in there. Never got diviner's box. The boxes are shit. Never drops anything. Avoid it if you can. Poison room, trap room, Atri, pretty much the same thing. You don't get anything unless it's level 3. Then you might have one of the alchemy, one of the uniques for the ceremonial chamber. It's just worth right now 1 alchemy. Honestly, this could change. It could change if people start actually like selling them for decent prices, because you can get a lot of money from like sacrificing them. But right now, absolutely worthless. Then the last tier, the worst tier. This I didn't even bother. It's just E tier. I didn't even bother making a name for it. Atziris. Atziris is so bad. It's a really hard room to get. First of all, gives attack speed and movement speed to your minions and to its series in the temple, which is not so great. It's one of the mods I don't like running because I was playing a trapper. It takes a little bit of time for me like to have my explosion and everything going. I didn't like that mod, and the drops from its series are regular its series drop. They're not Uber its series. Therefore, you can make 40 chaos or something. Might as well just run like a normal temple, a normal Atziri run. It's gonna cost you 4 chaos, get the same loot. Difference is your Atziri in a Atziri run is not gonna be super fucking fast, which it is in the temple, and you're running level 83 temple, so she's beefy, she's stronger, a lot faster, a lot deadlier, and she's not gonna give you anything. Don't do that rule. Avoid it. Worst of all, if it's level 3, there's no packs of mobs in the middle of the room. Like in the center, they're just gonna clear all the monsters in that like room, and you're just gonna get a series. Which means you're losing pack size, you're losing chance of really good drops for nothing, and you might die. Don't do it. It's really bad. Lightning room and fire room. The reasons why they're not in the same tier as the other rooms where you need to make a level 3 to get anything really. It's just because of the layout. Both of them, you spawn in a kind of like a small pass, and if you have like chaos spitters on both sides, you can't dodge anything. You might die from this. So those rooms, I like getting rid of them. That's the only reason why they're lower than the other ones. It actually doesn't matter that much. They're all equally as shit. But because of the layout, there's potential for dying, so they're even worse. Pool room is just, it's so bad. It gives you the shittiest unique of all of them, I think. The Spirit Drinker, the Demon Stitch Mask, I don't know if, well, actually, I'm not gonna say it's the shittiest one. I cannot use it. I can't figure it out. Nobody buys it. So it's not good. That's like the start of it. Like, let's just start with this. It's not good. Then, not only does it not sell, but it has a really bad layout. Once you spawn, everything, there's no walls around you. So as soon as you spawn, if there's enemies that can like throw a range attack at you, they will. And you might die from this because you can't hide anywhere. Let's say you run a map with like multiple projectile and then you got some chaos spitters. There's a good chance you're dead. You spawn in the wrong room and you're dead. Next, once you get that to the temple, if it's level anything really, then your monsters are going to regen HP really, really quickly. For a trapper, like I played, wasn't a big deal, but I could see this being a big deal for other builds. I'm not exactly sure how much it is, because I have never leveled that room. I've done it like a few times initially, never ever going to do that again. It is awful. You can die from spawning. Really bad mod to have on your temple. Doesn't have any chase uniques. Doesn't have any decent something at the end. It is just so bad. It's probably the worst room. Avoid it. Absolutely avoid it. So, that's pretty much it for the tier list. Yeah, let's see what else do I have in there. So I got a little rundown of yeah, Essence's you can get prophecies from the item room. I forgot about that. That's pretty good. Yeah. Forgot the jewelry room. Jewelry room is not so great. It's pretty average. You could potentially get some really good talismans. The rest of it is useless. If cards are nice. That's about it. So hopefully this video was useful for some of you for the upcoming flashback event. I will try and answer most of the question in the comments below. Once again, my name was Bear in Mind. You can follow me at Bear in Mind at twitch.tv. I will be streaming from 5 to 12 Eastern Time. And that was video.